You don't get to do that on the football field and not be in last. You don't deserve number 8. All right, welcome to Week 4, NFL Power Rankings with TSST. Here we do it in 4 different divisions. We've got the mammals, the birds and horses, the working class humans, and the warrior class humans. Let's get into it. We are going to have the mammals. And last week, and this week is staying the same at number 8, the Bears. The Bears. You are so bad. So bad. They had Taylor Swift in the house. Cameras on her left and right. The narrative, Swifties become football fans. Everything was right. Ratings were spiking, and you were so bad. They switched the game off. They switched the game off, and you had Taylor Swift. That's how bad you are. Holy cow. Number 8. At number 7 and 6, last week, Panthers and then the Rams. And this week will be the Panthers and then the Rams. The Rams are starting to show what I kind of thought they'd be. Really not that good overall. I really think that the Bengals were beatable this week, and they did not do it. Held to a lot of kicks. I mean, so were we, to be fair, but you know, and the Panthers just proving to not be able to move the ball well. Andy Dalton came in. I think he did better than Bryce Young, but, you know, they're not getting anything going. Their offensive line in the Panthers is just terrible. It's absolutely horrible. Worst in the league. So if they don't get something figured out on their offensive line, they aren't winning anything this year. So at 7 and 6, we will have the Panthers and then the Rams. Last week at number 5, I had the Bengals, but this week it's going to have to go to the Jags. The Jags losing to the Texans. Maybe they're not the team we all thought they were, and I guess I'll just leave it at that. They'll be at number 5. Pour a fresh subscription to TSST. Moving up a spot this week, at number 4, I've got my Bengals. We finally got the win we needed. I think we are looking like a complete team. Our weapons are still good. Joe Burrow's clearly banged up, so this entire season's going to depend on Joey B's health, to be honest. I'm not convinced that playing him was a great idea, and I don't know if that game would have gone very differently if we had Browning in instead. We need to treat Burrow well. If he's healthy, we'll do well. If he's not healthy, we're not going to do well. But number 4 for now. Number 3 last week was the Jags, but this week we will have the Lions. Yeah, the Lions are still looking like a pretty decent team. I think they will be making playoffs this year. I think it's a very exciting year to be in Detroit. I mean, there's not much more to say than just, good job, Lions. You're hanging in there. You are impressing everyone. Good job. You get number 3. At number 2 and 1, things will stay the same, and I think it makes sense. So at number 2, we've got the Buffalo Bills this week and last week. They have come back. They are looking like the Buffalo Bills we all expected them to be. They are looking like a good team. Josh Allen's back. Their defense is doing good. Offensive weapons, boom, number 2. There you go. And at number 1, we are going to keep the Dolphins. Yeah, 70 points. Yep, you get the number 1 spot for the mammals there, Dolphins. Good job. We will have the birds and horses division. That's right. So last week, in 8 and 7, we had the Cardinals and then the Broncos. Well, guess what, Broncos? You don't get to do that on the football field and not be in last. They're in number 8. You know what? You don't deserve number 8. Number 9, Broncos. At number 7, we will have the Cardinals. They get to move up a spot after beating the Cowboys. I was tempted to move them up a little bit more, but I just still don't think that they're a very good team. I think maybe the Cowboys just aren't as good of a team as we thought. So we'll see how the year goes on, but they will get number 7. At number 6, moving down a couple spots, will be the Jets. I'm sorry, New Jersey. Bench Wilson. You bench Wilson, I'll give you at least 1 spot up. I promise. I don't care if you lose. 1 spot, bench Wilson. But for right now, you're going to be at number 6. And you're going to be dropping lower, I bet. Well, no, I think you're going to stay at number 6. Those other 2 teams aren't good. At number 5, staying exactly the same as the Seahawks. The Falcons and the Ravens will be at 4 and 3. Last week they were at 3 and 2, but they're both going to have to move down. Why are they going to have to move down? Well, that's because the Colts move up to the number 2 spot. I didn't really want to put them this far up because I don't think they're better than the other teams, but when I was making my list, Well, the Colts beat the Ravens. The records are the same, so I kind of had to just swoop it up. I mean, the Colts, in a linear way, had to be above those two teams. It's bizarre. Bizarre, I tell you. So, the Colts will be at number 2. And at number 1, we're going to have the Eagles. The Eagles are looking like everything everyone thought they were going to be. Hurts is looking great. He's staying nice and mobile. They made the Bucs look pedestrian, and I really think that the Bucs are a better team than we thought, but the Eagles are kind of having a way of doing that. Just making the other team look pedestrian. So, yeah, Eagles are going to stay number 1, and something tells me they're going to be holding on to this spot for the birds and horses for a while. We have the Warrior Class Humans. At 8-7, last week I had the Pats and then the Titans. This week they're just going to flip-flop. Titans then the Pats. Let's be real, they're both garbage. I think the Titans are slightly more garbage. You're keeping up the rear of the Warriors. Next up in 6-5, we're going to have things staying exactly the same as last week. Vikings and then the Chargers. I think the Vikings, they get to be above the Patriots and the Titans even though they have wins and the Vikings don't. The Vikings don't have wins, but they're definitely a better team than them. I will put them above there. The Chargers, aggressively mid. They're always aggressively mid. Everyone comes in saying, oh, the Chargers are going to be great. Herbert's the quarterback of the future. No, he's not. Nothing's ever proven. They are a very mid team. They will continue being a mid team. I think they need to change some coaching around there. So, yeah, you get 5. This week at 4, I'm going to have the Raiders. I had them at number 1 last week, honestly. The only reason I did was because they were technically leading their division over the Chiefs, and I wanted the Chiefs to be at number 2. And that was the only way I could really justify it. So, they did not deserve number 1 last week. So, they're going to be at number 4 this week. Probably where they belong. At 3, I'll have the Commanders. Another mid team. They're getting some wins, though. They're good in their division, I guess. So they're going to keep number 3. At number 2, even though they lost, I'm going to keep the Buccaneers here. I actually think that they're a better team than I thought originally. I think Baker Mayfield's playing a lot better than he was. They didn't get blown out, which a lot of teams got blown out this past week, and they went up against one of the best teams in the NFL right now in the Eagles. So the fact that they even kind of held their own against a really good opponent, I'm going to keep the Bucs at number 2. And at number 1, we're going to have the Chiefs. That's right. Taylor Swift inspired them to a commanding lead. A lead so good, the TV turned the game off. Well, switched to a different game. Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to beat that to death. I already brought it up a bunch with the Bears. So, yeah, the Chiefs are going to be at number 1 here for the Warrior Class Humans. And I think that's where they belong. And I think we're going to see them there for a while. They're still good. They've still got it. Working Class Humans at 8-7. We have the Texans and Giants. Last week, I had Texans and then Giants. This week, it will be Giants and then Texans. The Texans absolutely beat the shit out of the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are just a worse team than we thought. I don't think the Texans are that good of a team. Maybe they'll prove me wrong going forward. That was a commanding lead. A big upset. Good for you, Texans. You get to move up a spot because of it, but I don't believe in you enough to get you out of these bottom spots. Not at least in this division. So, yep, you're going to be at 7 still. At 6, we're going to have the Steelers. Yes, they beat the Raiders, but I really don't think that they're that good of a team. Also, these are my rankings, and I'm never going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So they're going to be at 6. Cowboys, going to move down a bunch of spots. They don't deserve a high spot. They lost to the Cardinals, and no one's even convinced the Cardinals are trying to win. Yeah, I think the Cowboys are a worse team than we originally thought. We'll find out. It's just 1 week. There's a long season, but they're going to move down to number 5 for now. Number 4, moving back up, we're going to have the Browns. That's right, without Nick Chubb, they're still managing to get that ball moving. The defense is really good. It's extremely good. It's scary good. Their offense, I still don't believe in that much. Watson did better than previously. I don't think he is a very good quarterback. I'm also biased. But their defense is the real deal, and their defense is going to keep it in them in this year. I think the Browns are probably making playoffs. Hopefully they don't give all the credit to Deshaun, because it's definitely not Deshaun. It's early in the season. They got time to fuck it all up. I take that back. The Browns are going to be at number 3. I have the Saints at number 4, and previously I say, oh, my list is made. We're not going to change it. We're changing it. We're changing it. We're changing it. Saints at number 4, Browns at number 3. The Saints are not a better team than the Browns. I take that back on what I have written down. Saints at 4, Browns at 3. At number 2, probably higher than they belong, I'm going to have the Packers having a nice comeback win over the Saints. I don't think the Packers are going to stay here at number 2. They get to keep it for this week. I think it's been an exciting start to an uncertain season for their fans, so we're going to let them have it for now. They're going to get to have the number 2 spot. And in the lead, we will have the 49ers. Despite a good effort at trying to limit Brock Purdy still looked pretty good. The 49ers are a commanding team. Their defense is awesome. I really do think they're going to be in the championship game this year for sure. So we'll see how the season goes. But yeah, they're going to be number 1 for the working class humans. All right, folks, thanks for joining us for the Week 4 Power Rankings. Hope you enjoyed them. Make sure that you leave a comment. Tell me how I did, what I got right, what I got wrong. And you know what? Have a good rest of your evening.